I love Tonali at Newcastle.
I love Tonali.
Oh, he can run.
Oh, he can run, yeah. I think he's been brilliant. Kamara's as well. Very good. I'd probably choose Tonali at this point.
Best midfielder in the league?
Yeah. Well, you're going to say Declan Rice?
Over Declan Rice?
Yes, I think he's better than Declan Rice.
I don't think there's anything that Declan Rice can't do on a football pitch. I think Declan Rice can do everything
lift trophies.
can.
Look, I really like Declan Rice.
You can tell Carragher's loving that.
I just think too many times he takes too many touches of the ball. I think he tries to look a little bit more stylish than he needs to do. I think he's got physical attributes of brilliant. I think he can be a box-to-box. I think he can score goals. I just don't think he does it enough. I prefer Tonali. Is it okay?
It's all right.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to not argue with Paul Scholes when it comes to midfielders. I do like. I've heard him on his podcast talk about Declan Rice, so he's quite consistent. I like Scholes. I don't always agree with him, but I do like listening to him because I think he gets stuff wrong. We all get stuff wrong, like you were saying, but when he gets it right, I think I like Scholes. I like what he's got to say. I don't mind Carragher, to be honest. I think Carragher's like very, he does a lot of research, you can tell. But if the conversation, and I don't know the full context, if the conversation is there, and I'm sure the chat's going to have very different opinions, that who's the best midfielder in the league, Tonali or Declan Rice, Caicedo and Gravenberch must be playing golf, because for me, I think those two. And you know what, Szoboszlai's been bloody brilliant this season as well in multiple positions. But I think right here, right now, we're sort of blessed in the Premier League. We've got so many good midfielders. And I do think Tonali's very good. I think Bruno Guimaraes is good. I think Joel Linton's good. You could argue Newcastle have got the best midfield in the league. Enzo Fernandez is very good. I think Zubimendi settled in well at Arsenal in a very subtle way. I think Declan Rice is fantastic. But I just think Caicedo, because of the goals he's added to his game as well, the energy, the passing, the tenacity, I think he's got absolutely everything at the moment. So I think it has to be Caicedo. But look, Declan Rice is in the conversation. Gravenberch is in the conversation. I mean, that goal he scored the other week where he broke from the midfield, he's here, there and everywhere. I feel like, obviously Rodri's had his injury issues. If he was fit, I think he'd be the best. So, yeah, I think Tonali's a nice shout and he's a very good player, but I think Caicedo is definitely on a different level to him at the moment. Let's not forget Bruno in the midfield as well. Bloody hell, come on! We're sleeping on him.
Caicedo, all these guys have got. Look, I like the Tonali shout. I think Tonali's excellent, and I think he's a little underrated. The one thing I will say that goes against him is that he plays for Newcastle, and I don't mean that horribly. I think there is more pressure when you play for Arsenal, Liverpool, United, Chelsea. The media attention is, you get more praise when it goes well, but you get 10 times as much scrutiny when things aren't happening. With all due respect, outside of listening to Newcastle content creators and a segment on a show where Newcastle are playing, you didn't hear anything about their slow start to the season by and large. There wasn't any thought pieces. I mean, Arsenal can over celebrate, and Forbes do a complete 2-page spread think piece on it. You don't get that type of attention when you're a Newcastle player. And so I always put the performances of players at the bigger clubs slightly above the players at the smaller clubs. And I know fans of Newcastle, Forest, etc., will get very frustrated at that. But there is a difference in pressure. And you always hear these players talk about it when they move to these big clubs. They go, it's like nothing I've ever experienced in my life. That suddenly, you see it, the social media followings jump, they double, quadruple, they go up by millions, and all of that adds to the expectation. But I think Caicedo and Rice are number 1 and number 2 at the minute. I still slightly go with Rice, not on the eye. The way Caicedo moves, he does look better. But for Rice, he's been doing it, and maybe this is my own ignorance. I don't watch enough South American football. Internationally, I've seen him play very well, but the Champions League element. So for me, if Caicedo can be as consistently good in the Champions League as Declan Rice has been, I think that's when I'll move into that space as well. I think Declan Rice has got a great opportunity, though, this year to anchor a midfield that wins a Premier League. That also stands you in great stead for me, because when you're winning, if you start winning major trophies, as Caicedo added the World Club Cup in the summer as an example, if he's able to do that this year, Declan Rice, I think that puts him to another standard. That being said, he was the linchpin and best player in the European campaign at West Ham and captained them to a European trophy. And no disrespect, I'm not taking anything away from what Chelsea did. They won the same trophy. We can't compare that Chelsea squad to that West Ham squad, and Rice was the linchpin and leader in that. So for me, it's marginal. And the one thing I hate in this debate and conversation is when, Rice is clear or Caicedo's clear. I think anyone who says that, you're wrong. It doesn't matter if I agree with your pick as number one. I just think your logic makes you wrong on this debate because neither are clear of the other. They're very, very close. They've both got different attributes, slightly different attributes that are stronger than one another in. But they're both fantastic. The only annoying part is that neither of the fuckers play for Man United. I
think this is where Man United have gone so wrong in the summer, is that they've spent a lot of money on the attack. And it's way too simplistic to go, if you score more goals, you'll finish higher in the league, because that's not, football's about your team. And I look at Arsenal, who's got the best midfield in the league. Arsenal's midfield's very good. Chelsea's is very good. Liverpool's is very good. Man City's, definitely going through a transition, but I'm sure they'll get there. Newcastle's midfield's very good. Spurs have got some good options in the midfield as well. So I look at Man United, and it's probably the weakest area on the pitch. So this is why I worry about Man United getting top 5 or 6, because I don't think we've got the top. I don't think we're in the top 6. We're definitely not in the top 6 midfields. We might not be in the top 7 or 8. I don't know. Is Bournemouth's midfield better than ours? Is Villa's midfield better than ours? So yeah, I think there is a lot of good midfields in the league, and to me, it's not a surprise that those clubs will be the teams that will be in the top 4.
No, I agree. Mark, if you could choose one for January, who would you go for, Wharton or Belieber?
Wharton, simply because I'm worried about Belieber's. Man United need leaders and strong mentalities. I don't think Belieber is doing himself any favours being subbed off every game after 60 minutes. Okay, you didn't get the move you wanted, but come on, you're not. We don't need players with weak mentalities, and I don't know what's going on with him at the moment, but I think it's a bit of a red flag that since he didn't get that move, he's either down in tools or it's rattled him. Either way, that's not a personality trait. He's still young, but and I think he's the better. I think he's got the different types of players, but right here, right now, I think I'd go Wharton.
No, listen, I'm a bit worried about the mental. I know his head's been turned, and maybe he's gutted that he didn't go. And there's an element of me that goes, "That's great, he really wants us," but he's going to go for adversity in the Man United team, and you've got to be able to handle that, and you've got to be able to. What if you don't get the new deal that you want? What if a Real Madrid comes in and you're half interested in 2 years, but the deal doesn't? The fax machine breaks, and you've got to stay. Are you then going to play well? That is a concern to me. I'm greedy though, Miss Bobby, very greedy man. That's why I've got a belly, but I want both. It won't happen, but for me, I'd like both. I think they're both fantastic players indeed. A few super chats here. This says, Terry, they should sack Slot for a laugh and see the Liverpool fans cry. Fair enough. Check out Victor Vorholt, the next Hulman. Okay, I'll have a little look, my friend. 26
porn star.
Probably is. Maybe I've even said the name wrong, and it's meant to be a bit of a sexual innuendo. 26th of Jan, Fulham 1, United 0, no red card, mid-table team. That's a long time ago, though, isn't it? It's a long time.